Cllr Tom Kelleher will move this motion.
Cllr League, comrades. The hallmark of a civilised society is to provide an education system that allows its citizens to develop each and every one of them to the maximum of their potential. Cutting back on education is the equivalent of cutting back on oxygen, on bread and butter, and on the lifeblood of our citizens. Politics is about choices, and government is about choices. And the present government has decided to choose education for its form of cutbacks. A government that chooses to cut back on education, to default on the children of the state, is a government that cannot be trusted. The most amazing fact I've heard on the present financial crisis over the last few weeks was a fact that emerged over the last few days, that tax breaks to developers over the last 10 years have amounted to €13 billion of a loss to the state. Those were choices made by Fianna Fáil governments to support and bankroll developers who are already benefiting from the biggest building boom we have ever had, from free access to money, and from a climate of growth and development. And yet, a government has chosen, over the last 10 years, to add to the profits they were making to the tune of €13 billion. The same government has chosen to default on our kids, the children of the state, and their future. The correlation between low levels of literacy and time spent in prison, on family breakup, on alcohol problems, on antisocial behaviour, that correlation is well made. It's universal. And yet this government has chosen to risk all of those negative effects on the future of our society, and has chosen to cut at the most vulnerable edge of this society. Children in special education classes, the weakest, the most vulnerable, very often the most marginalised, are the ones that have been chosen. Not the developers, not the bankers, not the well-off. To finish up, I have an image of the passengers on the Titanic throwing the children overboard to provide balance and ballast on the ship. That is what I see happening at the moment. We have to bring this to the doors before our local elections. Every citizen in the country has a right to vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.